Alright guys, we have our final numbers coming in here from preseason and how everyone did the receiver wise. And yes, Yoshi absolutely blew it out the park. So Yoshi finished the preseason with 27 targets, which again, just taking a look at this, that is the most receiving targets of any wide receiver in Cincinnati Bengals history. Kobe Hamilton hit 20, Kendrick Pryor hit 19, Bryant hit 18, and Trent Irwin hit 20. And keep in mind that some of these guys did it when there was 4 preseason games, not 3. So just keep in mind how amazing Yoshi did this preseason. With that being said, and he actually almost had the most receptions of any preseason wide receiver. If he would have had 2 more catches tonight, he would have tied the most receptions in preseason history. I know you might say, well, that's preseason. It's not that big of a deal. You know, it's not like it matters that much. It doesn't in the context of, like, you know, like actual stats that we look at moving forward in the NFL, like regular season. But still, these are stats that show he's going to most likely translate very well into the regular season. He's going to continue that production level. And yes, he did get 27 targets, and he only caught 44% of them. But you got to keep in mind, he's being thrown to by Trevor Siemian, by Jake Browning, and a lot of these targets are simply uncatchable. Like, there's not even a chance for him to catch half the targets that he's going after. So, it's pretty dang good when you think about the fact of how bad the targets were. He did have 1 touchdown in all of preseason. He also did have, or almost had, a crazy, like, 40-yard touchdown. I think it was week 1 of preseason. So, he really almost had that number, like, most yards and most receptions. Oh, man, I wish you would have hit it. But 129 yards, still not bad. 12 receptions, 27 targets. Pretty dang good day. Well, pretty good preseason. The next guy we want to talk about here, though, is going to be none other than Cedric Jackson. I actually messed up in my last video. I said that he only had like 6 yards. He actually had 112 total. He actually had 56 more yards in this game. So he finished the season, or preseason, with 112 yards, 9 catches on 14 targets, finishing with 64%. Now, he did have a 35-yard touchdown that was wide open tonight. So, if we really put out the numbers there, they're kind of messed up for that said reason. But Yoshi also did catch his touchdown wide open. So, it's not like, you know, they're completely the worst things in the world to put out there. Because, again, the stats do matter. It's just that with context, some of these stats are kind of wishy-washy. Nonetheless, though, Chuck Sizzle had 9 catches on 15 targets, 101 yards on, of course, a 60% catch ratio. Kwame, another really good standout of the preseason, 7 catches, 12 targets, 39 yards, and 58.3% catch ratio. Tanner Hudson dropped a huge touchdown last night, which would have, of course, really helped his draft stock. And, of course, well, not draft stock, but his preseason stock. And then the next play later, Trevor Siemian, the pass gets tipped up and picked off, intended for, you guessed it, Tanner Hudson. 8 for 11, 29 yards. He only played 2 preseason games. He played week 1 and he played last night. He didn't really play any other, so I'm not going to really trash him for that, but 72% catch ratio is not bad. Hippenhammer, another guy trying to make this roster, 3 catches, 5 targets, 23 yards, 60% catch ratio. Trent Irwin did not play last night, but he did have 2 for 3 for 46 yards and 67% catch ratio. Bowers, 1 for 1, 3 yards, nothing special. Carter had 4 catches on 7 targets, 43 yards, 57% catch ratio. Stanley Morgan, 2 catches, 3 targets, 13 yards. Chris Evans had 2 catches, 3 targets, and 20 yards. And I actually didn't mention him here, but Chase Brown, 6 receptions for 7 targets for 75 yards, 85% catch ratio. Now, a lot of Chase Brown targets were out of the backfield, and they were simple, like, dink down passes. So it's not like he really had, like, the toughest time. He wasn't doing what Yoshi was doing, going on the outside against the number 1 corners, number 2 corners, and trying to get open. Now, Yoshi did have a lot of play time throughout the preseason, but this goes to show how much, the coaches really do like him. Trent Taylor actually last night got his first catches of the preseason. He had 3 catches on 4 targets last night and 26 yards. So shout out to him for that. Now, of course, we already know the majority of the receiving core this year is going to be Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Trent Irwin, and number 5 and 6 are still up for grabs. Based on last night being Trent Irwin got sat and he didn't get played, kind of makes me imply the fact that he is already on the roster then, and that means the last 2 spots for the 5th and 6th receiver most likely will be Yoshi and it will be Chuck Sizzle. Now, there is a 7th spot that possibly they could keep. They could keep 7 receivers, but if that's the case, then they're going to really have to look at these numbers. And again, it's not always what numbers you put up, it's also how you play. But I will say Cedric Jackson has given them really a good reason to potentially get a roster spot based on his play time and how he has played and how he has looked. But Stanley Morgan really has not done anything in the preseason. 3 targets, 2 catches, 13 yards. But he's been a pretty good special teamer for a very long time for the Cincinnati Bengals. So it's very possible he can make a roster spot based on the fact that he is a good special teamer. Keep in mind, it's always nice to have guys that can do a little bit of everything. Just more than just be on the field when you need them, but also make plays off the field on special teams or anywhere else that helps you out immensely. So there's always different things that, coaches look at that us fans might not look at. I always said, the preseason for the coaches, the regular season is for us fans. But guys, tell me down below your thoughts and opinions though, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.